occurs to me why anyone should listen to anyone else, not just Marshall, talking about spiritual things, and in particular God, of course, but more generally too, related topics, as you know, perhaps the secular view of philosophy and life. And the answer, I think, is that because we all face, from time to time, some difficulties that are very nearly overwhelming, or sometimes overwhelming. And to some extent, we all have to face a situation of coping with impending death. Because it could be you're so busy with life and you're hit by a bus and you never had to think about it and you didn't. But if you know in some sense that it's highly likely you will have to cope with such situations, major difficulties in life, including anticipation of finally knowing you're likely to die soon perhaps, in certain circumstances, then you need to be, or shall we say, it would be good if you were well prepared, assuming there is a way of being prepared. Now, there are various philosophies of life, and religious ones are definitely somewhere in that mix, that address themselves to these difficulties, and therefore it's not optimal to disregard how to cope with great difficulty, given the apparent, at least, probability of having to face it from time to time. Yeah. So, it's reasonable to, cut across sometimes a person who's, as I've just chatted, or rather been listening to, endless chap talking endlessly about his life, career and civil service and railways and being an accountant, and he's now retired, and he has not spent a great deal of time and effort on being prepared spiritually in life. And so it's legitimate to say to him, which I didn't. I tried to introduce such things like, how is it you became Christian and so on, but he quickly got back onto his view of the world situations, you know. But it's as well to say, to cut across him and say, how have you prepared spiritually for the difficulties in life? I think, one, because it's an egocentric question. He's likely to pick it up because he can talk about himself, even if he's going to give you the reasons to why he dismissed such issues. In which case, at least you could, re-examine the subject and see how firm a ground he feels he's on in this regard. Well, more importantly, I'm pressing you, that it is very legitimate to interrupt him. It's crucial that you don't fritter away your time listening to someone who's endlessly going to talk about what you find to be issues of very little importance, and he finds of massive importance, from his own perspective, of course. I mean, he's at sea, he doesn't know it. He's at great risk, and he's ignoring it. you could analyse with him why he's ignoring it. You know, you may have to say very good reasons. Oh, well, there's no way of knowing, is there? And, you know, there's no good reason to suppose that there are answers to such questions. You just have to get through as best you can, you know. But that's as it may be. The point is, you would now be confronting the issue that is important from your point of view as to why this man is pressing on heedless of the things that you find it. It's legitimate to steer the conversation that way. It's legitimate to say, no, we need to find ground where it interests both me and you, in this case the you being this chap. And if we succeed, well, that's great. That's very satisfactory in some sense. If you don't, fine. You move on, he chats on, you know, he steers it ruthlessly back to himself and his life's career and so on, and his view of the world as it is. And, well, you terminate it at some point. You may have to. Otherwise you may be trapped for an hour, more. People are very well able to talk about themselves for more than an hour, several hours. If you're just polite and listen, well, you're in for great opportunity cost, because you could have spent the time better not listening to such. In other words, in some sense, he's bad company, and he does not have ears to hear. And, you know, the example is in the story, isn't it, Jesus, that he talks to those that have ears to hear. He really gives the explanation to those that follow him afterwards. And they cross-examine him and say, well, what did you mean by this parable? And I'm not sure if he really tells them the answer. He usually gives them another parable to illustrate it. Yeah. But do you see, you have to take the initiative, or you will fritter away your resources, your time, your energy, your effort. And of course you will have given yourself, quite honestly, bad company for a few hours, trapped in this worldly conversation. No point. Thank you, Heavenly Dad. Incredible background, isn't there, in this recording? I mean, some row, the noise going on of a group that I'm obviously walking near at that moment. And, well, it's illustrative of our ability to focus regardless. You know, I'm focused here on conveying to you what I think about a dilemma in outreach, where you can find, far from you leading them, they are leading you down a totally secular activity. You know, fascination with the worldly side of their life, without God. It's not the way to go. It's not outreach. You know, it's being a party to gossip, in that you're just listening to endless stuff. Rubbish, really. You can do better, thank God. You know, to walk alone and talk to God. Far, far, far better. Love you, Heavenly Dad. Just love you. Thank you so much. So you see, dear one, those things like a married man pleases his wife. Be ye holy. We're not in fellowship with the world.
God is, in a strange way that we should follow. He waits. He's to all intents and purposes, from the individual's point of view, not present in this world. But when you call on him, he is there. And you can find this, you're talking to a person who you think, oh, they're just caught up in the secular drift of life here in the world. And they suddenly touch on something like, well, it's been a bit difficult lately. Oh, how do you mean? Lost my mum a year ago. Doesn't seem to be the same. You're quickened. The door's opened. You can bring God into the conversation. No problem. They have ears to hear after all. Are you going to wait ages and talk on endlessly? No, you wait until they call. Not wait with them and be dragged down by their preoccupation with the world. We're not here to gossip. We're not here to attend to the trivial. We are devoted to God. And that means to rescue where they have ears to hear. And if they don't seem to have ears to hear at present, well, that's fine. They need more time in this barren world, where they experience both good and bad and come to long for the good and cry out. And he's there instantly. Might be in the form of you, it might not. It may be purely spiritual, it just comes to them. I want you, God, I want you. So try to avoid bad company, dear one. It's not uplifting. It de-spiritualizes you. Okay? You know, he goes out into the wilderness to preach, but there's nobody there. Oh, they follow him if they want to. Be out there 3 days, find there's no food. They're still listening to him. Okay, that's the story. But it vividly illustrates the way, doesn't it? Jesus is the way. Whole point of the story is he's the personification of the way to holiness, to preoccupation with prioritizing our wonderful heavenly Dad, which is everything, everything, everything to life. He is the Lord, the giver of life, life abundant, life eternal, our Dad. Thank you, Heavenly